Saying that obedience is a pathway to blessings. So a lot of times I think we get obedience mixed up with compliance, but obedience unlocks new dimensions in our lives, dimensions of growth, purpose, and divine favor. So when we talk about obedience in the context of Christian faith, we're not just speaking about following rules or feeling obligated to abide by different rules. We're speaking about aligning our hearts and our actions with the will of God, which also accompanies trusting that his plan for us is greater than anything that we could design for ourselves. Okay. This alignment is what propels us all as individuals into a new realm of spiritual and personal transformation, is what we're searching for, right? We don't want to be the same. We don't want to remain in the old. We want to transform and conform to the ways of God. Obedience to God's word and guidance is the key that opens doors to multiple blessings, breakthroughs, and supernatural favor. And sometimes it's almost instantaneously. It is the truth. John 14 and 15, if you love me, you keep my commandments. Now, this isn't just a mere suggestion. It isn't saying, let me just see what they talking about, what they're going to do, how they're going to take this. This is actually an invitation for us to enter into a deeper relationship with God, where our hearts are tuned to his desires and his will for our lives, and we become vessels of his holy glory. That's what that means. If you love me, then that means keep my commandments. You have to ask yourself, what happens to my relationship with God when I don't keep his commandments? Also, to remember that obedience is a reflection of our trust in God's sovereignty and his wisdom. So when we are obeying God, we are saying, God, I trust that you know what is best for me, even when I don't understand the full picture. I trust that you know what's best for me. Now, that's when true transformation begins, because we begin to metamorph out of the old mindset where we only believe what we see, and we begin to believe what we don't see, but we believe what God promised us. So the moment we step out in obedience, something shifts in the spiritual realm. Your obedience activates the unseen forces of heaven on your behalf. Remember that your obedience activates the unseen forces of heaven on your behalf, which means God's promises, which are often contingent upon our willingness to follow his commands, began to manifest in a way that we may not even expect because of our obedience. The very act of obeying can bring instant transformation in any of our circumstances, relationships, in our hearts and our minds. It's not that obedience is a magical formula. Don't get it twisted, but it is a gate opener, a door opener. It is divine empowerment. So think of it as stepping into the current of God's will. Like if there's a reservoir, there's a flow, and every time you're obedient, you're stepping into the flow and the current of God's will for your life. Does that make sense?